So let's take a look at this Easter candy.
Ooh, nice.
I was given when I left a dinner, you see. Could it be mine? Will it be mine? Soon I will devour it.
It's Baseball at the Corner. This is the Michigan in Trouble podcast with your hosts, Alex S. Freeman and Luke Jaconis. Hello and welcome to the Michigan and Trumbull podcast. I'm Alex Freeman, joined as always by Luke Jaconis, who can't stop chuckling already. We're off to a great start, folks. It's going to be a good...
I'm laughing because you said, "Are we ready to do this?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And then I took a big gulp as if I didn't just give you the green light to start the show. And here I am chugging down a Celsius Live Fit, an unofficial sponsor of the podcast, Celsius Live Fit. But if they would like to sponsor us, we are all ears.
What even is that?
This is like a
This is
sugar.
really about to sound like a sponsored moment.
This is no sugar, no preservatives, healthy energy, accelerates metabolism, burns body fat. So think of a LaCroix if it had more like healthy stuff in there, or a Red Bull or a Monster if it had none of that unhealthy crap in there and all of the healthy stuff. It's like sparkling. It's a seltzer. Everything's a seltzer nowadays. Even beer is a seltzer somehow. But I am drinking it, and it's pretty good. It's orange flavor.
So, are you drinking it for energy? Like, what are you, or just flavor?
I just like it. A little bit of both. It says healthy energy, accelerates metabolism, burns body fat. So the way I take that is, if I drink at least 2 of these a day, I don't ever need to go to the gym again or eat a fruit or vegetable.
Because I got these right here. They're making you. Yeah,
I think so. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some sort of tiny description in the fine print that says, drink these for 6 months straight, look like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Just saying. Could be. They're pretty good, though. Yeah, Celsius Live Fit. They are sparkling seltzer healthy stuff. We'll call it that.
Yeah.
In stores now.
In stores now. You can buy it at your neighborhood grocery store. Head over to the Publix if you happen to be in Florida.
Yep, that's where I got to go, Publix.
Beer
is outrageously priced down here, by the way. I think I told you this when we saw each other last weekend. Beer is just outrageously priced.
Yeah, it's more expensive to get a pack of beer by you than it is by me. And I live in the most expensive city in the country.
Yeah, back home when I was in Illinois, even for the year I lived in Chi-Town on the north side, right by Wrigley Field, Chicago, a 6-pack of beer, a 12-pack of beer probably ran you anywhere from $10 to $12. If you got a 6-pack would probably be more towards the 9 to 10 side, maybe a little bit less. 12-pack, you're looking at maybe more like 11 to 13. Out here, a 12-pack of beer is going to run you $16, $17.
Wow.
But let's put a caveat on this. So, Alex, as you and I are fully aware, last weekend we had a wonderful time at Walt Disney World Resort. We went to Epcot. We had dinner at Disney Springs, a lovely little weekend getaway with all of our pals. The hotel we were staying at, you were staying at a hotel on property. We were off property at the Disney Springs Doubletree Hilton. It was a very whatever hotel. When we
not
arrived
a sponsor of the show.
Not a sponsor of the show. I think I did give them a review. I think I gave them like a 5 out of 10. I said my feedback was staff was friendly, need better TVs. You got to have a fan in your room. You got 4 dudes staying in one hotel room. There's going to be some stink. There's going to be some stoink. Get those fans in the bathroom. Unacceptable, in my opinion. But we got to the hotel, and we were like, oh, well, if we need any more beer, maybe we'll just go down to the hotel cafe and buy some. I told you the price, right?
Yeah, you did.
So for our listeners who are
fill
curious,
in the listeners.
For our listeners who are curious as to what a 6-pack of beer will cost you at Disney Springs, technically not a Disney-owned hotel. It's owned by Hilton. At a Hilton hotel on Disney property, it will run you for a 6-pack $25. And I think that whoever made that decision, whoever said that was acceptable to put that on the shelf and then put a $25 price tag below it, I think that person should do some minor jail time.
I mean, I think it was the Monopoly guy, right? Like with the monocle.
Him or Bernie Madoff, either or. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the Monopoly man or Bernie Madoff, because $25. Look, I love a good Michelob Ultra. That's my go-to beer, but I ain't paying $25 for 6 of them. That's just inexcusable, inappropriate. And whoever and whenever I find out who made that price, there will be consequences. Now, I didn't buy it because I'm not a maroon, but still, there's going to be consequences. You can't do that to families. You can't do that to families who just want to go enjoy some Disney magic. You can't do it to the dads who look for a nice cold beer after a day in the parks and they just want to beat the absolute piss out of their kids for whining and complaining for 12 hours. They want to crack open a cold can and enjoy their hotel stay. $25, unbelievable. Can't happen. Won't happen.
I have to say, if you're an adult looking to take a trip to Disney with your friends, do it. It's a fun time, especially when you don't have kids to worry about. And then also when you walk through the park at 7:00 in the evening, and everybody's having their meltdown moment because they've been in the park all day, you just go, this is a delight. I'm going to go get a Mickey ear. It's great. How
many kids did we just see while we were there? Because their parents probably kept them there 3 hours too long, 4 hours too long. They're walking, and then they just stop and plop. They did the stop and plop.
Just done.
They pulled the stop, the plop, they start to flop. It's the op. It's the stop flop. It's the stop pop flop. That's it. Bada bing, bada boom. It was hilarious.
And as we said multiple times during the trip, that if one of the things that was nice about the trip was one, a little bit of reduced capacity at the parks, so that was nice. But then also everybody wearing masks. Very few mask problems that I saw along the way. And as we said, if everybody would act like they were at Disney all the time, which is probably true in more ways than one, the world would be a better place. We'd probably have kicked this to the curb by now.
Had everyone in the world responded to COVID like Walt Disney World has, and the restrictions that they have put in place and the rules they've put in place, COVID would have been defeated last summer. Yep. It's insane to me. Before we were thinking about going, I had people be like, aren't you afraid to go to Disney with COVID? I was like, hell no. It's going to be safer to go there than to walk down the street to my local Publix where like half the people don't wear masks. There's that one place right down here, that seat to table, where I hear they just like, it's like craziness, no masks, all this stuff. Disney's like, they're leading by example. But anyways, I don't know how we got on this tangent, but $25 for a 6-pack of beer is outrageous.
That is outrageous. That's
to put the pin on the conversation. Go to Disney, do it responsibly if we still have to, because we're in the middle of a pandemic, and don't spend $25 on a 6-pack of Coors Light. Inexcusable.
That's too much. Much too much. But yeah, we've got some league news. We've got some games to recap here, and we've got some games to kind of preview here. So let's kind of dive in. Let's go big picture first. Let's start with Major League Baseball news. Obviously, the big leading story this weekend has been that the All-Star Game has been pulled from Atlanta. MLB joining with a couple of other corporations to protest the voter restrictions. And I have to, in the spirit of give credit where credit is due, Rob Manfred showing some courage and some leadership here. This is not typical of Major League Baseball to really, but we did see it a little bit last summer as they got more involved in Black Lives Matter protesting and awareness, and kind of continuing on that theme. So good work on the commissioner's part. And I read that this could potentially cost Cobb County, where Atlanta is located, about $100 million in tax revenue and revenue for local businesses. So hopefully politicians are paying attention. Now, speculation early on, maybe the All-Star Game would come to Detroit. Sources are now indicating that Detroit is not one of the options that they are exploring. We're expecting an announcement later this week. As you listen to this show on Monday, we'll probably get it, I would guess by Wednesday, we'll have the location of the new All-Star Game, but not Detroit, unfortunately, which would have been fun, but alas, but not going to Atlanta. Luke, any thoughts on this All-Star Game?
No, I agree with you. Kudos to Rob Manfred, who I think, especially given kind of the way things went last year in terms of when we were trying to get the season going amidst everything with the pandemic, definitely was easy to kind of look at him and shake your head. But this is one of those moments too where we have to separate the fact that we love baseball. in our opinion, the greatest game there is in all professional sports. But, they say sometimes bigger than a game. This is one of those moments when it's bigger than the game. And so kudos to Rob Manfred for sticking up and stepping up right away. And honestly, what's surprising most with the whole thing was how quick the decision was. We just heard recently about these new voter laws that have been put in place in Georgia. And pretty much as soon as those laws were put in place and that was put in the public eye and was under a lot of scrutiny, Rob Manfred acted upon it. So I think it's great. I think it's a way to lead by example. It's taking care of the sport, and more so, I think it's taking care of the players within your sport. I think it definitely, hopefully, shows them a sign of, hey, we have your back. I think that's terrific. And I think overall, it had to be done. It is what it is. Hopefully, Georgia can figure their stuff out. And it's not like nobody wants to. It's not like we don't want to go to Atlanta and see a great game of baseball played at Braves Park. What is it called? Truist Park or
Truist Park. Yep.
Truist Park. Yeah. I hear it's great from everything. It's always makes me laugh that they have a new stadium because Turner Field was not really all that old when they.
It's actually really fun if you I don't know if you've done this recently, Luke, but if you drive through, if you are perhaps driving to Florida to go to Disney and pay $25 for a 6-pack of beer, and you are coming from a northern route, you might go through Atlanta, which I have done on a drive to Florida before, and now you can pass Turner Field. Yep. And then a little bit further down the highway, you pass Truist. So you just kind of get a nice tour of the stadiums.
Yeah. The one thing I feel bad about in regards to this decision, which again, I lead off by saying kudos to Rob Manfred for making the decision. I think it was the right decision to make given what's going on. I think it sticks up for his players, his league, et cetera. I give it a thumbs up. The area where I feel bad about it is there's a lot of people who just lost jobs. There is a lot of people who unfortunately now are going to have to take pay cuts, whether it's the people who are going to be working the events of All-Star Weekend, all that good stuff, the revenue that it would have brought into that area. As you said, they're expected to take about $100 million financial pay cut or financial loss. So that's not good. Obviously, with every decision, there's pros and cons. But I think given the state and what Rob Manfred wants to do for the league and the players within the league that feel like this was something that was definitely kind of being used against them, I say it's a way to kind of lead by example. So I give it a thumbs up. And again, it's unfortunate that there will definitely be some financial losses for people in the Atlanta area, and in particular, probably some jobs as well. It's never a good thing. Nobody's happy about that. But again, bigger than baseball. So it kind of is what it is.
Now, Luke, Detroit, obviously we have off the table because of sources inside Major League Baseball suggesting such. It will probably not be in Dodger Stadium, as the indication is that they will just continue with the plan to do it at Dodger Stadium in 2022. Mm-hmm. Where do you think, chance for both of us to look like idiots on the show, as the news will certainly come out shortly after this episode drops, where do you think it'll land?
Well, I thought this is kind of unfair because I thought I saw something the other day on Twitter, or maybe it was on MLB Network or something, that they were looking for a kind of a Midwest location, in particular, either Wrigley or Guaranteed Rate in Chicago, or I thought I even saw Miller Park, or not Miller Park anymore. I know it's got a new name now, whatever the Brewers call it, but Brewers Stadium. So I feel like I heard that that's where it's kind of leaning towards. I guess the only way you can kind of go about it is what's a stadium that hasn't hosted in a while that they would want to give it to? And I don't feel like any of those three have hosted in recent memory. So I feel like, honestly, those are all pretty good shots.
The only one I know, because I've read some similar articles, that Wrigley hasn't hosted since 1990. That's what I know.
Yeah, I was just say Wrigley feels like, I feel like the White Sox did it maybe in the early 2000s. I can't think of what the new name for Miller Park is, but where the Brewers play, I could see them getting it as well. So I don't know. I'll say for the hell of it, I'll say Guaranteed Rate.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Why not?
Go for it. I'm gonna go left field because I think it is going to end up being Miller or Wrigley, but I'm going to go ahead and go on the record and say it's going to be Yankee Stadium, because new Yankee Stadium has not hosted an All-Star game either. And you know what? Why not give it to the city of New York?
And I know
we haven't had a win in a while.
Yeah, it's true. It's been a minute. Comerica probably would have been a safe bet, but I think they hosted in the early 2000s as well. They just Busch Stadium. They did, I think, like in 09 or 2010. I feel like they did it at Kauffman Stadium not too long ago as well.
I feel like Comerica hasn't hosted since the stadium opened, which I mean is
it was
early
2000s. Yeah, I feel like the Tigers and the White Sox are in the same ballpark. Honestly, if we're going on the team, if we're solely basing it off teams that haven't hosted in a while, Wrigley's probably your best bet because I was interested. You said it was 1990. That was the last time they hosted. Yeah, I mean it's been a while. It has definitely been a while. So, I mean, Wrigley's probably a safe bet. I'd be curious to see.
And the argument for Milwaukee is that, they are going to honor Hank Aaron at this game. Hank Aaron spent 12 years in Milwaukee. So it does, that could be a nice fit for the tribute as they look at it. But, it always comes down to logistics for the league. How are they going to pull it off? Are they prepared to pull it off? Do any of those stadiums have concerts booked in that week? That's going to definitely be a question to get asked, because if they do, then they're probably off the table. So we'll see. The other big league news, Mets Nationals series was postponed because of COVID. Just as a reminder that the pandemic is absolutely not over. We have already lost 3 baseball games due to COVID, and I would guess that we're going to get probably a few more here in the early goings, and this will kind of dovetail us into the Tigers team news, because we're right at or about the 85% of the team and traveling party has been vaccinated. So the Tigers are now able to start easing up on some COVID protocols because they've kind of hit that number. Expect that number to get to 100% pretty soon, and other teams across the league are in that same situation. So this first month of the season, we may still see some postponements because of COVID, but hopefully as more and more of these teams hit that threshold, we'll see less and less of that being a concern. And also as more and more folks just in the world get vaccinated, hit a new high in the United States, over 4 million vaccinated in one day. So we're getting close. Nice little plug of get your shot when you're able to get your shot.
True.
Go do it.
True. Yeah, it's weird to think. It's amazing, honestly. The year comparing this season to last season. This time last year, we were all like, I don't even think we're going to play. I mean, we honestly didn't even think like that there might be a season. Everything was so up in the air. It was a really kind of unnerving and questionable time. And just a year later, here we are. We're in the middle of the season. And for the most part, no hiccups. It's unfortunate, obviously, what happened with the Mets and the Nationals. But again, of course, if there was one team to trip over their own feet, Mets are going to Mets it up. So it's very on brand for them.
I'm just saying the Mets have not lost a game yet this season.
Pick is looking good. Your pick is looking
I feel great.
Good. Yeah, you should feel great. But no, it is important to remember that we're still in the middle of the COVID pandemic. It's definitely looking much, much, much better than where we were a year ago, but we're still not quite out of the woods yet. So, of course, as you said, Alex, do all the things, get your shot when you can, do the mask, do the distancing. It's okay, I think, to kind of start going out and living your life more, which is great. Just be careful when you're doing it. I think we can all agree on that. And it's even affected the Tigers. I know you said we have an 85 kind of vaccine rate, which is awesome, but we still don't have Spencer Turnbull, who's being sidelined due to COVID protocol. And our pitching coach, the 6'9" Goliath, Chris Fetter, is still being sidelined for the season because of some COVID issues. So we'll kind of keep our fingers crossed that those guys can join us soon. Again, 85% vaccination rate for the team is awesome. The traveling team is great. And let's hope we get that to 100 and we can be at full squad here pretty soon. Because it's just Fetter and Spence at this point, kind of the two mainstays that have been sidelined due to COVID. But let's get them healthy.
Spence has been cleared to start working out again. So I don't know what that. I
think he's in Lakeland still, right?
Timeline. I believe he is still down in Lakeland. I don't know what the timeline is yet for him to actually rejoin the team. I presume that he'll be in Lakeland until he's fully cleared, and then he'll go to Toledo for a little bit at the alternate training site, and then eventually come join the team.
I think you could probably expect to see Spence back with the main team, maybe late next week or the week after.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
would love to see that.
I think we can expect him back, and then obviously, we want Chris Fetter. We've talked so much about Chris this offseason, and rightfully so. We think he's going to be a phenomenal addition to the coaching staff. I have no doubt about that in my mind. So we want to have him back as well. But obviously, before we get them back, we want them on the team. We want them to be healthy. family's healthy, all that stuff. That's more important in the game. And it sounds like they're both on their way, so we should be seeing them pretty soon.
Absolutely. And now, Luke, we record on Sunday evenings, little for folks. Disappointing a bit this Sunday evening as the Tigers did lose this afternoon. But if I had told you this time last week that we would be recording and the Tigers would be 2-1 after an opening series against the Cleveland Indians, I feel pretty good about that. And I do feel pretty good about that.
You said it perfectly. This is obviously a bit salty because the game on Sunday, for those listening on Monday, yesterday's game, the 9-3 loss, probably wasn't the way we wanted to finish, especially how they were playing for most of that game. Looked like we were well on our way to a sleep, but then the bullpen kind of faltered towards the end. It's going to happen. It's a long season. You're going to lose games. So I guess get them out of the way now and try to work on those hiccups and whatnot. But also at the same time, it's the bullpen. We're used to this as Tigers fans, the bullpen kind of letting us down late in games. But let's not harp on the negative. Let's talk about the positive. And it is the fact that, yes, the Tigers did win a series to start off their season. The best part, though, is that it's against a team like the Cleveland Indians, a division rival, a team that has had our number for many, many seasons as of late. So this is a great way to start the season. And in particular, the 2 wins that the Tigers had against Cleveland in this opening series really felt like team wins.
Yeah.
I felt like everybody was contributing, from the pitching to the offense to the defense, the coaching decisions. All in all, this just felt like a really good team win. And I think you can look at 2 things in particular that stand out to me with these first 2 wins against Cleveland. One, we've said it all offseason, we've said it spring training. There's just a different feel with this team when it comes to coaching. Not disrespecting the great Ron Gardenhire. We loved Gardy. We really felt for Gardy given the teams and the rosters he had to deal with these last few years in Detroit. But he said, that's it for me. He's hanging it up. And then that was able to then usher in this new guy, A.J. Hinch. I just feel so good with Hinch at the helm. I know it's only 3 games. I know this team is still going to struggle throughout the year. I'm still not even saying that this team is going to win the division this year. I think they're going to still have plenty of struggles along the way. Having said all that, it just feels like a different attitude. It feels like a different era. It just feels like they're playing a different type of baseball that we have not seen from this team in the last 3 or 4 years. So that's great. On top of that, and I know it's only 3 games in, starting pitching can really set the tone. And while all 3 of our guys, Matthew Boyd, Julio Teheran, and Tarek Skubal, they didn't go out there and throw perfect games. They were effective enough, and they had good enough starts to put us in a position to win games. I felt for the most part they were attacking hitters. I felt like they were getting those big outs when they needed to be. And for the most part, I felt like they were in control of their at-bats. Yeah, there were some high walks for those guys. I'd like to see kind of those numbers go down. I think let's see. Julio had 3. I think Matt Boyd had 3 or 4. Skubal had 2. So we want to get those walks down, but walks are a part of the game. Just don't let it hinder you throughout the whole thing. But again, starting pitching really can set your team up for victory or for defeat. And I was very impressed with our starters these last 3 games to go out there and set that tone early on. And then the offense did their thing, had some nice stuff from some guys in particular. And of course, I think on offense, my MVP is a guy who may have not even gotten a hit yet this season, and his name is Robbie Grossman.
Yeah, no hits, 8 walks for Robbie Grossman through 3 games. Yeah, I tweeted it from the account earlier today. If Robbie Grossman doesn't get a hit all season, but he walks at this rate, he can hit leadoff the whole year. That is totally fine. If he just wants to be that disciplined in the game, and eventually, guys are going to learn that he's not going to swing at things that are just outside, and so they're going to have to put some stuff that's a little bit more inside to him, and that's going to be easier for him to hit. So I think it's definitely going to all kind of pan out if he can remain as disciplined as he's been. Yeah, one of the things that struck me this week too is with both of these wins. It's not like the Cleveland pitching was off. Shane reigning AL Cy Young Award winner Shane Bieber threw 6 innings and struck out 12 on opening day in a losing effort for Cleveland. So, if you told me that Bieber was going to come in and throw like he threw, then I would think we would be in some trouble. And the Tigers still found a way to win. Some defensive missteps from Cleveland, but nothing wild. I don't think this felt like the Cleveland team we kind of expected it to be. Bats a little quiet, but the Tigers found a way to win. One of the things too, coming out of this, and I'm sure you took note of this as well. three very different lineups from the Detroit Tigers in all three games. We've already started to see, certainly some of this is early season experimentation, trying to see what really is going to work. But I think that, three different first basemen coming out to play in this. Miggy wasn't even in the lineup today. We're told, a little bit of soreness, but it was kind of a planned day off in this first series. And I think that we'll see them really take care of Miggy in that way, especially if he is going to be more or less the everyday first baseman. I think we will see him days that are like truly days off as opposed to just DHing. But yeah, I mean, three very different lineups, and I think three solid results, good defensive efforts in general. Obviously a 9-3 line looks pretty bad, but I don't think that it was really defensive miscues. I think it was just pretty good hitting off the bullpen by Cleveland.
Yeah, so in regards to the 9-3 loss, the only miscue I could think of was in the first inning. Skubal had that guy, I think it was it Jose Ramirez? I can't remember who it was, but had a guy picked off at first. Harold Castro kind of let that ball go. You have to keep in mind, too, I think it was Harold Castro's fourth career start at first base on Sunday, so there's going to be some growing pains there. And in regards to the 9-3 loss as well, Detroit was in control of that game for pretty much all of it, and then bullpen kind of came around late and let it get away from us. It was a little bit disheartening to see who were the guys that kind of came in and got lit up. Because Daniel Norris, we really haven't seen him struggle much as of late. Same thing with Buck Farmer. So that was a little disheartening. I thought those were two kind of guys we could kind of depend on, and I still think we can. I'm not going to jump ship because of a third game in. They have a rough outing. Let them get their legs underneath them. Cleveland is still a good team, and I'll get to their lineup and just kind of their overall team in a second. But, yeah, that was a little bit frustrating to see it be a guy like Norris and Buck who are the dudes kind of giving up the hits and the runs, but it happens. In regards to Cleveland overall as a team, I know it's only 3 games in, and I'm sure I might eat these words later on down the road, but I don't know. I'm not impressed with their lineup. It's hard, and it's okay, I think, to not be impressed because they lost this guy by the name of Francisco Lindor. It is really hard to replace a guy like Francisco Lindor. I think the pitching is still going to show up. We saw Shane Bieber get roughed up a little bit on opening day, but then he turned into the Shane Bieber of old. Savali pitched well today, even though he got roughed up a little bit early on. They still have the pitching. For me, it's the hitting with Cleveland. I just don't know if they're going to be able to withstand a full 162 with the lineup that they have as is. Jose Ramirez, still great. Ludlow is good. There's a couple other guys, too. Franmil Reyes, I think, can really demolish the ball. But overall, I don't know. You lose a guy like Francisco Lindor, you're going to really be hurting for a good bulk of your season. I mean, he's a tough guy to replace. So that'll be interesting to kind of see how Cleveland does throughout the rest of the season. And obviously, we're going to see them plenty, being a division rival. So it'll be kind of interesting to see. But yeah, other than that, though, I mean, yeah, moving away from – well, actually, I guess let's kind of talk – I know we're kind of all over the board here right now, but since we're on the 9-3 loss, I was impressed with Skubal. I guess his numbers right here, 5 1/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. I thought Tarek looked really good today, man. I really thought he looked in control. I really just liked everything he was doing on the mound. Pitch count was a little bit high. I think, even the guys on now Bally Sports, which we should talk about too, how we're feeling about the Fox Sports to Bally Sports change here in a little bit. But Matt Shepard, Jack Morris, they even kind of mentioned during the pregame that that's something they want Skubal to kind of work on is that pitch count. You can't be going 80, 90 pitches and barely get into the 5th inning if you want to, be a mainstay in the rotation. So, again, he's young. He'll work at it. But I thought Skubal looked great. Nomar Mazara, I think right now I got him down as one of our earliest standouts for, I know it's just the first series, but thought he looked real good. Obviously had the 2-run bomb today. And I think the feel-good story of the day is obviously Akil Baddoo. First start in the majors, first pitch he sees in the major leagues, pokes it out the left for a solo shot. Mom and dad and brothers are there watching it. Just an awesome moment. I tweeted out from our account earlier. That's why I think baseball is the best, man. It's just such a great sport. I mean, you don't really get to have a lot of those moments in other sports where you can kind of just be that guy for a second. I mean, I guess in the NFL, you could have a bbig catch or a big tackle. Maybe in NBA, you can, hit the big 3. But there's just something different about baseball. Maybe it's because I've played it. We cover it. It's just that kind of, there's that feeling, there's that magic with a moment like that. So kudos to Akil Baddoo. Continues to be the surprise Cinderella story for this team, and I just am so happy for him. What a story! I mean, honestly, he's really taken the most of his opportunity and ran with it. And kudos to him. If he can keep hitting and playing like he did in spring training and in this game today, he's going to be with us for a while, and I think it's only going to help.
Yeah, it was a very fun moment. Obviously, not to rain on Akil Baddoo's parade here, but he did then the next time up swung at the first pitch and popped out. So maybe maybe we can work on a little discipline at the plate, picking those things. But I'll take some aggressive swinging from especially if he's going to hit one out of the park.
Look, when Robbie Grossman takes as many walks as he does, yeah. When Robbie takes as many walks as he does, it then kind of gives everybody else in the lineup the liberty to be a little bit more aggressive, because you're like, well, he might have popped up on our first pitch, but Robbie Grossman's about to make this pitcher work for a 12 to 13 pitch at bat to end in a walk. So kudos to him. No, I get what you're saying. It's just, I think he's great. I think as long as he can kind of keep producing like he's been, he'll be around for a while. Again, kind of sucks 9-3. Really looked like it could have been a sweep there, but it is what it is. Cleveland is still a good team. I don't think they're a bad team. I just think this might be the year. And again, this might be a bit, preemptive of me to say this after a 3-game series, but I think this might be the year we start to see some severe cracks in the foundation. I could be wrong, but I don't know. I just wasn't that impressed with the lineup they put out there. Granted, they tattooed us for 9 runs on Sunday, and give them props there, but I don't know, it's interesting. Should we just kind of keep going? And now that we've started with Sunday, should we just go to Saturday, and
let's do it.
Opening day.
Let's talk about April 3rd's win, 5-2. Jonathan Scope making his career debut at first base, and played fantastic. What a delight! Made some really nice plays, really fun to watch over there. I think he did a really nice job. That was nice to see Scope over there. I was unsure about that, as I'm sure many of our listeners and other Tigers fans were, of like, why would you take a Gold Glove second baseman and move him to first? And it seemed to work out. So that's why AJ Hinch is the manager, I suppose.
Yeah, he's got a Gold Glove for a reason, because he's real good no matter where you put him. I was quite impressed with Scope's debut at first. I thought he was pretty good. For me, again, I want to get back to the starting pitching. Julio Teheran, real nice start for his Tigers debut. Gets a win in his debut at the Tigers. 5 innings, 4 hits, a run, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Again, maybe like to see those walks go down 1 or 2, but walks are a part of the game. I definitely felt like in this first series, like I didn't want to pull my hair out quite as much as I did last year with the leadoff walks. So I think we're making progress there. Let's see that continue throughout the remainder of the season. I thought Teheran looked really good, though. Again, puts your team in a position to win, and I thought he went out there and did just that. Candelario had a real nice game on Saturday, as did Nomar Mazara, had a nice game. I think Miggy had a hit in there. Willie Castro had the RBI triple. Overall, I mean, the lineup is hitting. I thought the Saturday win, I think the final was 5-2. That was very nice overall. That just felt like a team win. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was great.
Yeah, and let's head over to opening day in the snow. Miguel Cabrera's 2-run home run fake double for a hot second, because he didn't realize he'd actually hit it out. Great blast. Always great to see Miggy hit one out of the park. It feels even better on opening day, just to kind of be like, yes, there's the big fella. As he chases history. Now I'm like kind of like charting, because they come to New York at the end of the month, and I'm like, maybe get a little hot. Maybe I haven't got it. Seeing
some get pretty hot. So, but remind me to circle around about him chasing history and whatnot. Fun fact: I think Miggy had not had a home run on opening day since 2008 when he debuted with the Tigers. So. Here we are, many seasons later, many seasons later, he does it again. And I'm not fooling here. I don't know. From the replay, maybe I'm wrong here, Alex, but I could not see where that ball landed. I have watched that clip maybe 10 to 15 times, specifically looking at the spot where they show where it lands in the instant replay. I still can't see it. That's how hard it was snowing there. So I kudos to Miggy, and no shame at all to, I don't know who was in right field trying to rob that thing, because I couldn't see it either. And even after knowing where it landed with the replay, I specifically was looking at the spot and I still couldn't see it. But fun fact, I was watching that game, and it was just great to see. It was great to see Miggy do that. And I thought that was a really interesting fact that he hadn't done that since opening day in 2008 when he made his debut at Detroit. Kind of in the same vein as you, where you want Miggy to get hot when they come to New York at the end of the month. The Tigers come to Tampa, I think, in the early part or the middle of September. So, I think he's like 130-ish hits away from 3,000. There's a chance, depending where he's at. I mean, 130 hits is a lot to do. He's not going to get there by the end of May or anything like that. He's probably looking, if he wants to achieve that goal, unless he gets red hot, like vintage Miggy, Triple Crown Miggy.
Yeah, I'm only looking for 12 home runs. I'm not looking for.
I understand. Yeah, you're looking for the home runs. I'm thinking there's a chance, depending on how he does this season, him coming to Tampa sometime in September, I could maybe be seeing some history there. So
that's one of those. If he's close, I might get on a plane to Florida to come see you.
Come join me. Maybe. Hey, you know what? We'll go catch a game in Tropicana, and then we'll go split a $25 6-pack of beer. I think we'll both go in there, $12.50 each, bada bing, bada boom.
I think I'd rather split a case for 18 from a Publix. That seems like a better deal.
Yeah, that's fair. No, and I don't know about you, Alex. Do you think that, given the fact that Miggy is chasing so many career milestones, I feel like every at bat is must see now to watch. Like, it's always, whenever Miguel Cabrera has come up in the lineup, it's always like, it's Miggy. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Mm-hmm. And I know obviously he's not, one home run away from 500 or one hit away from 3,000, but I just feel like we're watching history. With every hit, with every home run, we're getting an inch, a step, whatever you want to call it, closer to history. So it's really kind of fun to do that. And also not to get sentimental, but Miggy's getting old. He's 38. We're not going to be seeing this for many more years. We've probably got 2 or 3 seasons left with him. And then who knows? I mean, maybe they kind of go the Ryan Zimmerman route where they bring him back for 1 year because he's the vet. He's the OG. And at that point in time, we're hoping and kind of calculating that we will be in serious World Series contention. That's a couple years down the road. But as it stands right now, we're only guaranteed a couple more seasons with this kind of everyday Miggy being Miggy kind of storyline. So while it's here, I want to enjoy it, as I'm sure all the other Tigers fans do as well. And then you add on to that the fact that he is chasing history. I feel like every at-bat that he does, you are kind of glued to your seat, and it's becoming must-see TV, at least for me.
Yeah, and it's definitely, I'm noticing it from some of my other friends who are not Tigers fans, who don't really, who have just like a passing interest in the team because they know that I root for them. But even, when he hit the home run on opening day, the first home run of the season, I was getting texts that were just like, God bless Miguel Cabrera. And it's like, it's fun. It is fun for baseball to have a story like this for this season, because I think that there's a lot going on. There's a lot, happening in the world, and it is just nice to have a story of a guy who has been pretty unproblematic throughout his career. Just a guy that guys like, that everybody loves watching Miggy take at bats, and now we've got like real appointment viewing of that, and I think it's only going to ramp up as he gets closer to 500. I think that we'll start seeing more and more of those stories lead on MLB TV and all of those types of things.
Yeah, I think there'll be a time where definitely the national coverage will start to kick in more. At least I hope. I think he definitely deserves it. He's a future first ballot Hall of Famer. I think we can all agree on that. But also with Miggy too, it's kind of cool because the way I look at it as well, obviously we love him. Obviously he's chasing history, but he's also he's in this phase, or he's in this group of kind of like the last of the old school guys, at least that I kind of, when I first really started getting into baseball, they were the big names. I grouped him in the same category as guys like Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina, Joey Votto, kind of, those. I know Votto was a little bit later on, but kind of they all get grouped into that kind of last guard, so to speak. So it's really fun to kind of get to see these guys go after it, and with guys like Yachty or Pujols, it's just fun to kind of we're not going to get to watch them play forever, so enjoy it while you can, I guess.
Speaking of Yachty, did you see Castellanos' quote about Yachty?
Yeah.
That guy could punch me in the throat. I'd still ask him for an autograph.
Mm-hmm. That was a weird situation.
That was a weird. Yeah, that was a strange. I also I have trouble with benches clearing. Not necessarily when the bench is clear, because I get it. Your teammates. It's when the guys run in from the bullpen all the way, and I'm like, I don't know that I've ever felt that much need to go defend a teammate when my entire team is already there to run 500 feet to get into the and
fray. By the time you get there, it's 9 times out of 10 everything's simmered down.
Yeah, and then I got to go all the way back. Like I don't know. I think those guys. That's why they're professionals, and I'm. Yeah,
it was
I'm
a very
just a
interesting.
Podcaster.
Yeah, it was a very interesting situation. Like I love what Castellanos. His whole quote was hilarious. He was like, I was pissed. You try to take a 93 to the ribs. He's like, whether there was intent or not, you get kind of pissed off. It doesn't feel good. It hurts. It is what it is. I didn't think it was as big of a deal as maybe some made it out to be. I know he got tossed. I think that was his first career ejection. But it is what it is. These guys are professional athletes. You're in the heat of the moment. It happens. And yeah, I agree with Nick. I don't want to take a 93 mile per hour fastball to the ribs. So I could see why he was a little bit peeved. And, I don't think he was disrespecting Yachty. The quote afterwards definitely shows that. I think in terms of his reactions to him and the pitcher, that was definitely a heat of the moment kind of thing. So it is what it is. But I hate to say this, but sometimes boys will be boys, or men will be men in this case. They're grown men, they're athletes. You get in the heat of the moment.
Men will be boys.
Happens.
That might be the
men will be boys. I like that one. Men will be boys. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, because definitely, anybody who's ever stepped into the batting cage and cranked it up to those speeds, that the machine is going to throw it right down the middle for you, and it's still you're like, I don't know, that's a fastball.
I don't know about this. Yeah, I don't know about this.
What have I done?
Real quick, I know we're kind of talking about the brawl, but I do want to talk about real quick our boy Matthew Boyd. So the opening day star, and look at his line right here. He went 5 2/3. He struck out 2, walked 4. Again, we want those walks to come down. However, did not let up a run, and in particular, did not let up a home run. So good for him. He had a real rough year last year. We have said it time and time again. We love Matthew Boyd on this show. Not only do we think he has the capability to be a fantastic pitcher, we know the kind of man he is off the field, which in my eyes supersedes whoever he is on the field. He's a great human being. So it was great to see him go out there. And hey, I'm sure if you asked anyone who you got on opening day, Matthew Boyd or Shane Bieber, who's walking away with the L, most people are probably saying Matthew Boyd.
Yep.
He proved the doubters wrong. I actually voted for him to beat Shane Bieber on the MLB opening day pick'ems. So kudos to me for backing up my dude. I think he's a great guy. It was all obviously first start of the season, came out strong. Hopefully he can watch those walks, but it was just really good to see him go out there first start of the year and kind of be not quite lights out, but pretty damn close, I'd say.
Yeah, he threw a really great game. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was the 5th where he got himself into a little bit of trouble and got out of it. A little defensive help from the team, but you got to count on your teammates for that help when you need it. And I think that it was great to see both Hinch and the Tigers coaching staff put the faith in him when he gets into that jam to let him work through it. And then great to see Matthew work through it and get out of that inning and be able to walk out of there after 5 2/3 with still a 0 on the scoreboard. And so I think that it was a great outing. I don't think we can ask for much more. Certainly, I think that he does not quite have the stuff that one might hope to see out of the ace of the staff, but I don't know that there's a traditional ace on this team. There's certainly a couple of guys aces in the making. If Skubal continues to pitch like he's been pitching and continuing on that trajectory, I think he's got great potential. A lot of guys in the wings waiting to go, but for right now, yeah, Matthew Boyd is a great guy to be the leader in the clubhouse, certainly of this pitching staff. And I think that we couldn't ask for a better guy there.
Yeah, again, we're very happy. Obviously, you win a series against Cleveland, a team that's had your number for the past few seasons. You go out there and get that opening weekend win. That's great. They take 2 or 3, awesome stuff. And the starting pitching was not an issue. Again, do I think it was 100% lights out Cy Young material? No, but we didn't need it to be. They went out there, they did what they needed to do. They put their teams in a position to win. And for the most part, it went down like we had hoped it would. Again, ran into some bullpen issues on the Sunday game and the 9-3 loss. It's going to happen. I still got all the faith in the world in a guy like Daniel Norris and Buck Farmer. I think that's good. I know Soto had a little trouble as well on opening day. I'm not worried about those guys. Let them do their thing. Let them get their legs underneath them. We're only 3 games in. I think they'll be okay. And we got to give some shouts too. I think Brian Garcia got the save on Saturday, which was great to see. Mm-hmm. And Michael Fulmer went out there and tossed a hell of an inning, really. I don't know what his kind of path is down the road, if he's going to get back into the rotation, or maybe they kind of do the Norris effect with him. And it's like, hey, you might get the spot start here and there, but we think you're more effective in the pen. If he pitches like he did on his appearance on Saturday, I think, keep him in the pen. You got plenty of guys who can start. God forbid something goes down with injuries. You got your guys in the pen who could definitely make some spot starts, Norris, Fulmer, Tyler Alexander. But right now, again, 3 games in, we're not going to overanalyze this. It's a good win. Things are good. Even with the loss to the Tribe, I think we should be proud of what happened this opening series against Cleveland, and let's take this momentum into Minnesota, or Minnesota comes to town, I believe, on Monday. Yes.
Yeah, not an easy week coming up for these Detroit Tigers. We talked about this in the schedule preview show, but like April's sort of a tough March for them to get through. This week, coming off of this 3-game set with Cleveland, we now have 3 with the Twins. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all those games. I think a 105 first pitch. So maybe get a little under the weather as you go for your afternoon of work, or put it on in your earpiece in a way that your boss can't see. Get a boss mode going. However you have to do it to watch the games. As you go, they take the day off on Thursday, and then 3 at Cleveland over the weekend. So by the time we come back to you, we'll have had 6 more division games underway against certainly two of the teams in the top half of the division. If we make Cleveland the pivot half point of the of the division in the top half, and so I think that's going to be a tough week. I don't know. I obviously would like to see them go. I always say you want to go 2-1 at home and 1-2 on the road if you can in those 3 game sets. That's obviously the kind of like the keep pace where you want to be. That's the benchmark. If we come away with that, I'll be happy. Would love to see 2 sweeps. But I meant to look it up. I don't know how the Twins been doing this week. It hasn't been going great.
I think they took 2 of 3 from Milwaukee. I want to say I could be. I know they. I don't know how the game ended up on Sunday while we're recording. I think Kansas City lost, so they're 2-1, and I think the White Sox are on Sunday Night Baseball tonight against the Angels. So yeah, right now
1-2, getting ready for Sunday Night Baseball.
Yeah.
Where is?
I think the Twins
not working.
I think the Twins went 1-2, if I'm not mistaken.
Twins won today.
Okay. Gotcha.
So 8-2.
They're 2-1.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Again, I this kind of sounds a little bit cliche, but I'm just kind of taking it game by game at this point. I know it sounds like such a kind of baseball player, and so just taking it game by game. People are out there doing their best, blah, blah, blah. But let's just kind of see how it goes. I'm not gonna throw the parade too soon. It's just one series. It was a great series to start off with. Let's carry the momentum into Minnesota. We're going to have Urania on Monday. I think Casey Mize goes Tuesday, and then we're probably looking at again Matt Boyd on Wednesday, closing out the series. So fingers crossed. If they play like they did against Cleveland, I like our chances. The starting pitching goes out there, starts the tone early, puts their team in a position to win. And if the bats can back up their pitchers, I mean, it goes without saying, but they'll be fine. So let's hope for the best, and I think I like our chances. I do.
Yeah, I think the game I've got circled is that Tuesday start for Casey. I want to kind of see which Casey Mize is going to come out and throw. Is it going to be the guy we saw in his last spring training start, or the guy we saw last season, which was fine. Lots of time to develop. I obviously would love him to be the lights out, to come and throw lights out, but I won't be writing off Casey Mize if he doesn't come out and throw lights out, but that's kind of the one that I'm looking at. And then obviously Matthew Boyd in a second start. I want to see that on Wednesday. I want to see him come out and continue what he's been doing. Urania, I'm not particularly like, he needs to come in eat innings. That's my expectation.
He's the new guy. He's the new guy. It's gonna. I'll be curious to see how he throws more. I know they kind of want him to be a image of his former self when he was with Miami. We'll see if it happens or not. But yeah, it's exciting. Baseball. It just feels so great to see baseball back, and I'll tell you, it was even greater to see fans in the stands. I thought it was awesome. Yep. So great stuff there. Can't complain about that, even if it's only at 20 or 25% capacity, whatever it is. I thought it was just nice to see fans back in the stands, and makes me happy to know, especially for Miggy, that this year he will get to have some of these historic milestones in front of fans and not a bunch of cardboard cutouts. So I think that's awesome stuff. And unless he goes on an absolute tear in the months of April and May, maybe home runs, before the All-Star break. But as we get later on into the season, July, August, September, hopefully capacities even grow more. You kind of maybe expand your rules and everything. So I guess they ease up on the restrictions or whatever it might be, so you can get more people into the stands, so you can kind of give Miguel the audience that he rightfully deserves. I think it's going to be awesome stuff there.
And he's going to hit home run number 500 in Yankee Stadium, and I'm going to catch it, and I'm going to give it back to him. I'm going it on the record right here. I catch his 500th home run, I will give it back to him. And then maybe we'll just be good friends.
If I were to get his 3,000th hit, if it was a home run for his 3,000th and I caught it, I would give it back to him under the notion that he would, A, have to come on this podcast for a guest appearance, and B, he would have to treat me to a $25 six-pack at Disney World. Those are the two things he's got to do, and then he gets the ball. I think that's pretty fair.
Okay, Luke, here's the question where I'm going to cross over our two passions.
Okay.
Disney and the Detroit Tigers.
Okay.
If you could spend one day in the parks with Miguel Cabrera, what park are you going to?
Boy, because, it would be pretty cool to say you went to Magic Kingdom with Miguel Cabrera. It'd be pretty cool to say you and Miggy went on Space Mountain together.
On Dumbo with
with like me and a Hall of Famer. Animal Kingdom is where my favorite ride is, which is Everest. So it'd be fun to take Miguel Cabrera on my favorite ride. If we could ride it together, that'd be a magical moment. Epcot, I would love to go country to country drinking with Miguel Cabrera. I think that would be a hell of a time, doing the foods, having some pints in the UK, all that good stuff. I got a feeling, though, Miggy is a bit of a thrill seeker. I think I just have this kind of thing in my mind that Miguel Cabrera likes some thrill rides. So if I could get him on the Rock and Roller Coaster or the Tower of Terror, if I could get a picture of me and Miguel Cabrera on the Tower of Terror, I think my life would be complete. I'm going to say Hollywood Studios. And maybe he's a Star Wars fan too, so we go make a lightsaber together in Galaxy's Edge. But I'm going to say I'll take Miggy to
which Miggy's buying, by the way.
Miggy can afford all of this, by the way. I love the guy, future Hall of Famer, but he's treating me. I mean, I think Miguel can lose $500 or $600 on souvenirs, park passes, etc., and not blink an eye on it. It happens to me. I'm kind of like, oh boy, I hope I can figure out my payments next month. But Miguel can take care of it. So he'll treat me to a day at Hollywood Studios, and as long as we get a pic of each other on the Tower of Terror, I think my life would be made.
I just want to say that my wife did just text me from the other room and respond with her answer to the question, which was Hollywood Studios as well. Yeah. So she was. I think the idea of the eating and drinking around the world with Miguel Cabrera seems pretty great.
Pretty dope, right?
Yeah, that's pretty great. I'd love to get to see his reaction to Soarin' the first time he rides it.
Or your favorite ride, Journey into Imagination with Figment. I mean, imagine Imagine you get Miguel Cabrera to come to Disney with you, and the first thing your goofy ass takes him on is the Figment ride. I would
You got to
say,
see
Alex,
it, Miguel.
he's never going to hang out with us again. You blew it. He goes on that with you. He goes on the Tower of Terror with me. We're having a great time, and then maybe we cap off the night drinking around the world at Epcot.
Yeah, I might make Mickey splurge for a park hop.
I think he can afford it.
Yeah,
I've seen those. I've seen the financials break down year by year with his contract. I think Miggy can afford a park hopper or two.
We're both gonna have egg on our face though when his new walk-up song is "One Little Spark."
Now we're getting. Not only are we getting real inside baseball right now, we're getting real inside Disney. There's some people are like, "This is too much Disney for me."
Like,
never listening.
What
to
are they talking about?
Yeah, in case you haven't picked up on it by now, folks, Alex and I love two things: the Detroit Tigers and Walt Disney World. Hey, don't knock it till you try it if you haven't been on a Disney vacation in some time. You can go there with your friends, your family, drink around the world, go on some roller coasters. What could be better?
It's true. Go to Epcot during a festival. The food is off the hook.
True.
Do people still say that anymore?
I can attest that the food is off the hook, as can my wallet. My wallet definitely knows that the food is off the hook. Probably a little too much. Next time we got to reel it back in. But come on, when you're there, get hopped up, make some bad decisions. It's a great time. And yes, Alex, people still do say off the hook. At least I do.
That's good. Yeah. Because
terrific.
Great. Well, we got a big week of baseball.
Yeah, man. It's great to be back. It's great. It's fun, obviously, the spring training, recaps and breakdowns and the predictions episodes. But this is why we're here. We love it. Also, once again, can we give a quick shout out before we head out? All of our friends over on Tigers Twitter. Obviously, you can follow us along at @Mish_Trouble. I think we are on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. We're doing some fun stuff there. Facebook as well. But in particular, Tigers Twitter, we interact with so many fun people. A lot of cool cats and kittens, to quote Carol Baskins. But great stuff. They're the best.
Yeah, it's been a good time. And come join us during the games. We're always there. Enjoying a time with us, and if you are on our Facebook or our YouTube, make sure you click those alerts button so that you know when and if we go live, because we will start layering in some live shows here as well as we get kind of settled into the season, and we'll be chatting baseball. Hopefully we're here talking about another winning week from our Detroit Tigers. Luke, have a good one.
See you, buddy. Have a good week.